Thank you for being here. You want to introduce yourself, or do you want us to introduce you?
Well, I can introduce myself.
Well,
I'm Amber Leto. I've got 2 companies now. I've got No Vacancies by Amber Leto, and I've got Amber Leto Designs, and I am an overnight sensation fashion designer, coming off 35 years of being a psychologist, and I'm just really excited to be here and share my story with you guys.
awesome. We're glad to have you here. We met you at the Admire Fashion Show with shout out to Ayana for inviting us.
Yeah.
We had her in a podcast a while ago, but and then after that she invited us to her fashion show, and it was a great show. First time for me being at a fashion show, so I didn't know what to expect. It was a good how to say.
A lot of good energy.
Good energy.
You know,
A lot of good
great
positive
networking
energy.
event. You know, I wish we could have definitely networked with everyone else some more. It was just a great energy and, amazing show put on with you and then as well as the other designers and just, the models and then everyone in between.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about, is connecting with other people in the universe that have good positive energy. And I felt that with you guys right away when I met you. So
Appreciate it.
so it's no surprise that we're all here together today.
It was meant to
Awesome.
happen.
It was.
Yeah, but let's just get straight into it. Aside from fashion, you spoke about doing psychology when you first started.
Yes. I was in the field of psychology for over 35 years. I graduated from the University of Arizona, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude, Dean's List.
Nice.
And then I went on to get my first master's degree when I was 21 and started, practicing, doing my internships and all that. I did an internship for Scripps Hospital in La Jolla. Then I moved back here. I was a therapist for many years back here in the early 90s. And then in 1997, I got into a doctorate program in San Diego, where I went and I finished my program in 3 years. I did a dissertation on the effect of exercise on adolescents who have an anxiety diagnosis. On the Stairmaster Corporation, I reached out to them and they actually gave me equipment for my study.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that was pretty incredible. And then, that's been published and whatnot. And moved back here and just been, working with patients in all different settings, anywhere from residential facilities to locked psychiatric units. I'm very passionate about people who have addictions. That's an area that I specialized in, chronic pain. And then towards the end of my career, I started specializing in working with other clients that had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is what I was diagnosed with in 2020 during the pandemic. It's a disease that you're born with. It affects everything in your body, including your connective tissue. And I was born without the ability to produce collagen or elastin. And you can't take supplements to help that. Your body, your brain doesn't know what it is, so it can't pick up on like topical agents for your skin or your face or synthesize any supplements. And it's a disease of your joints, of hypermobility. I also have mast cell activation syndrome, some immunological disorders, and it just affects every person differently. And it's a debilitating, really horrific disease that's invisible.
Wow.
So a lot of my clients ended up behind a psychiatrist's desk thinking that it was, being told that their symptoms were somatic, but they are not. And I had spoken with some guys that I met who were studying to take the medical exam. There's only one question on the medical exam about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Oh, it's just a completely overlooked.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And they use a medical term. They refer to us as zebras because it's such a rare disease. And
Yeah.
in my mind, I was thinking, okay, zebras makes perfect sense because this disease isn't black or white. There's no clear-cut,
Yeah.
way to diagnose this. But no, it's zebras is actually a medical term. It's for a medical anomaly. And that's kind of what the situation is. And on the average, it takes 30 to 40 years to diagnose. And I got diagnosed when I was 50.
So
at this time, is it like just slowly happening without going undiagnosed?
Yes, it's a degenerative disease. And so I had a 14-level spinal fusion. I had a rib reconstruction. I have to get my knees replaced. I've got, arthritis in all of my joints. My spine actually collapsed. All my discs degenerated because that's connective tissue. The enamel on your teeth is connective tissue, so I have a mouthful of cavities. Your eyes have connective tissue, so I've had issues with my vision. Your veins and arteries are made out of collagen and elastin, and so I had some of those collapse in my legs, my lower extremities, and had to have surgery on my veins so the blood didn't pool in my feet. So I've been through quite a bit medically, but it was really freeing and really exciting to finally know that there was a term for what I had wrong with me. It was very empowering to know that there's a term, even though people don't know much about it, but just to have this umbrella under which all of these symptoms fall under. They're very normal for the disease, and the disease is degenerative in nature. Most people end up in a wheelchair. I'm fighting tooth and nail not for that to happen, but I'm prepared. If and when that happens, I'm prepared for it. It's not going to slow me down or stop me from anything at all.
Definitely. You're a warrior at that. Like, just one of many things. That's certainly a roller coaster, Amber.
Yeah, and that's what some people call themselves EDS warriors, and I'm definitely an EDS warrior.
Absolutely. No, and then it's crazy. The mixture with your line of work is just your full-fledged knowledge and this experiences. I can understand it being not only overwhelming, but imagine not having any experience in the medical field, and it's just feeling all kinds of emotions,
Well, I do have a lot of experience in the medical field. I don't know how far I got with this, but so I went on to get my second master's degree in counseling psychology through the School of Education. And then I moved back from Arizona. I moved to San Diego, and I got a second master's degree while earning my doctorate in clinical psychology. And again, they don't give grades there, but you had to have at least an 89% or higher. I had 99%.
Nice.
Because I have a photographic memory, which has been really helpful for me.
Are you serious?
Yep, I have a photographic memory.
To the core, really?
I have a photographic memory.
That is amazing.
Yes, especially for written words, for faces, written words, a text, in books.
How long is that? Like since a child, or?
Yeah, because
Really?
they identified me as being gifted. And the other thing is I have a photographic memory for colors, which now as a designer has really, been fabulous because
Absolutely.
I can see things and be like, okay, those are the exact same color, so I'm gonna run with that.
Awesome. You don't gotta take a fabric swatch and take it to the thread.
No. I just know.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've had it before. You take a picture of a fabric and it just doesn't match on the phone compared to in person.
Exactly.
It's frustrating. Yeah.
But it's all in my head. My head is a
That's
very
amazing.
creative place. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're here to do, to pick Amber's brain a bit.
It is.
Yes.
So, like we mentioned to her earlier, how you sent me the notes of her Hollywood interview, right? You mentioned there that life is short and you should chase your dreams, and then especially with having EDS, is that what helped you? Like, no, let's do it now. Let's just,
because you've been consistent for so long, right? Yeah.
Well, I was consistent in the field of psychology. I was also something about me. So there was the American College of Forensic Examiners, and I don't think they're an organization any longer, but I was a level 3 Homeland Security through them. I was a certified crime scene investigator.
Oh, really? Nice.
And I'm to this day, very fascinated by serial killers and by evil and how what makes a person become evil. And it all goes back to childhood experiences with their parents, with other children, how they're treated, if they're bullied, if they're, an outcast. So that's just something that's always fascinated me. So what I really wanted to do with my life was become an FBI profiler.
Oh,
that was
what would you do if that were the thing? What's like the job description?
Okay, so an FBI profiler, they help create a what's the term for it? A picture with certain I don't want to with certain, not credentials, but certain facts about a potential suspect that is a serial killer.
Sketch artist?
No. This is the psychological portion of it. So
like what makes them tick
yes,
and get to that point?
like what kind of job they have, whether they're married or divorced, what kind of car they drive, It's a science.
There's a
What
track record
yes.
here. Is
What kind of
consistency.
car they drive,
Wow.
what's happened in their life that most likely took them down this path, the relationships in their life. So they actually, it's the psychological sketch.
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
So-
Have you
okay.
ever heard the idea? I don't know if you guys have heard about it. That some people argue that there's a recurring pattern with a lot of serial killers that they've sustained some kind of head injury
Yes.
by the age of
yes,
5. I think
yes,
like
that
in
is
the
also
front.
true. Frontal lobe damage.
Yeah.
Frontal lobe damage, and that's where your personality is developed.
Really?
Yeah, and you're conscious. And so I've always been fascinated by all that to this day. Like I still watch like the real forensic files, the real crime shows.
Do you know anything about? How do I say this? Okay, and I mean this in the most just a pure observation. I've noticed a lot of women tend to like these shows, and then it's just I don't know. Is it just a pure coincidence, or is there like any
I
kind of
think it's a
correlation
pure
of what's?
coincidence. I mean, the whole reason I went into psychology was because I wanted to learn what made people do the things they do. I wanted to learn why certain people act in certain ways, why certain people become, I want to say very evil. And I wanted to understand all of that.
Definitely.
So I went in it to understand all of that. Unlike most women, I think completely rationally. I do not think or make decisions based on emotion. And that's something I've tried to help a lot of my clients with because, women kind of get a bad rap that they're like overly emotional.
And men do too. Yeah, I think honestly both parties do that at some point.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could definitely say that
'cause
with some men that they
We
think
spoke
emotionally about it.
I had a little theory that most of the time that men end up in prison, of course it's because their childhood, how they grew up, whatever. But sometimes it's more like maybe emotional, because like we talked about, like you're at a bar, they're drinking, and then someone gets mad at you for no reason, and they get upset.
Lack of emotional self-control, and those are the things that are developed early on and stuff.
Yes,
And then not just based off like assumption, correlating the fact that there's environmental factors, the way they grew up, social
Nature
status.
and nurture. I mean, they've
Yeah.
done twin studies. That's what's also fascinating to me is all the twin studies that they've done on different things. But it definitely, I mean, some of the things that they found in common with a lot of the very evil serial killers is their childhood experiences, their relationship with their mother is a big one, their relationship with siblings, their relationship with other kids their own age, like being bullied or being an outcast or not having friends. Torture to animals is another one. Fire setting, bedwetting.
Yeah.
So there's all these things that they've already found out that are part of this larger picture, and a behavioral profiler is able to put all of that together. I mean, they've even said they most likely drive this make and model of a car, and they are 100% correct.
Wow.
That's crazy because there's some joke stereotypes about the Nissan Altima. And
I haven't heard those
yeah,
yet. But
and then see, because there's a different demographic of jokes in the memes. But on a serious note, speaking off that, what you're saying that maybe these are reoccurring factors, or it's just a reliable vehicle.
Yeah.
But all that stuff. But on a serious note, I kind of wanted to ask you, in some sense, but just based off your opinion and your background, do you quite possibly believe someone can just genuinely be born an evil person?
yes, I do. I've experienced it in my life. And like I said, like now the universe has like opened up the floodgates, and I'm getting so much positive energy and being connected with other people in the world that have really positive energy. But yes, there is an evil presence. Some people are, in fact, born evil. They even have a show called Born Evil that I love. And people are, there's a predisposed path there, and sometimes it cannot be stopped. But that was part of like the whole thing with me in psychology and needing to understand why people chose to do certain things and what made them what things made them be that way.
Definitely.
And have that conscious. And yes, there's definitely people who do not have a conscious, who believe that that have no empathy, and there's a pattern. They start out abusing animals and killing and torturing animals, and then they move on to people.
Yeah.
And that's a
moving up.
definite path that they all have progressed through.
Did you ever watch the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix
Oh, I watched
one?
the whole.
All of
Yes,
it?
I watched all of that.
Would you
and
say like how they portrayed him was like accurate, like on stuff like that? Because I know they started off with in the show like he's torturing animals and
then I
stuff
think
like
it
that.
brushed on the fact that a little bit that his mother had I think a personality disorder. I could be wrong, but she
Oh,
did
yeah.
struggle with something as well.
And like I said, a lot of it ties back to the relationship with women, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe any of his victims were women.
No,
As
yeah.
Oh,
far-
yeah, you're right.
No,
His
they're
vi-
mostly
him-
men, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's this need to be able to control something, to have power and control, and their thinking is not a normal rational thought process. I believe with him, his whole thing was he was so lonely. He wanted to have a companion that would stay with him. And, he tried to drill holes in people's brains and fill them with chemicals to create, I believe he called them a sex zombie or whatever
Yeah,
his
it's like they're
terminology
still alive,
was.
but not alive, conscious, but not
Right.
conscious.
So
Yeah.
he could have that companionship. And in a way, it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
But it's extremely, extremely evil.
Yeah, it's twisted. Yeah, no, and then it gets to the point where it's like, because at one point, like you just said, I don't know, I did almost feel a bit of sympathy, kind of like staying on topic, like when they showed the Joker. I don't know if you ever watched the Joker movie.
Yes, I
kind of
did.
yeah. So it's kind of in that storyline it expressed like how he got to that point.
Exactly.
But really great movie, by the way. But I'm just
Are
saying
you
with
talking
this
about the one that Jared Leto starred in?
Yeah, that one.
All right, I have to just say to everybody that I have so much respect for that man and the roles that he's played and how much he puts into learning about every character that he plays a role in. And I think he's a fabulous musician. And all of the fashion show I just did in Hollywood and the fashion shows that I'm doing in New York and all of my videos are always to songs by 30 Seconds to Mars. He's an amazing humanitarian and just filled with positive energy, which is definitely somebody that I would like to connect with.
You're not related to them, are you?
No. No. But I designed him a very special pair of one-of-a-kind sunglasses that
Nice.
incorporate his acting career with his, Oscar award and his Academy Award winning roles, along with some heritage because he's from Louisiana, and then there's the French chord,
Oh,
and-
definitely
and
rooted.
I-
Yeah.
yeah, and also his music career. So I made him this fantastic one-of-a-kind pair of sunglasses, and I've been having a hell of a time getting them to him.
Yeah.
But Amber Leto doesn't quit, so that's on my list of like definite that's gonna happen.
I'm sure one of
will.
these
It will
one of these
happen.
days you're gonna knock on the right door, or you're just gonna come
Or
to
run
you,
into
right?
him and be like, Jared, I've got something really special for you, and I can't wait to see his face when he sees them because
Absolutely.
I know, fashion wise, and just watching him and his fashion and like his energy, that he's really gonna adore these. I'm looking for a way to get them to him.
You'll get
Awesome,
there. You'll
awesome.
get that. I feel like you will because you've
Definitely.
been working hard. You've been telling us about how you're gonna do fashion, New York fashion show and all that stuff. So I'm pretty sure you'll get to that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing 3.
Oof.
Oh yeah,
That's a
you
lot.
were telling us about that. Which one? Can you elaborate on a little bit?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I'm doing the Bureau
Yeah.
fashion show on September 12th at 4:00 in New York City at Gotham Hall.
This year, right?
Yes. I'm this year as in like in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And they just contacted me. They've been picked up by a reality series
Wow.
wanting to film, behind the scenes and get, learn about the designers and all that stuff. So hopefully I'm, going to be featured on that. And then I've got the fashion experience, which is September 13th at 1:00. And that is in Times Square on an elevated platform, like a huge runway. And then I'm doing Haute Style. And my dear friend Dimitri is in charge of that show, which actually puts me in front of 200 buyers. And as of now, I'm slated to open the show. That could change. That was the original plan, but things change in the last second when you're there.
Right.
And they're having me show 30 looks.
Yeah.
And I got to give a shout out to my wonderful manager, Yaisi Hutt, who is incredible. Without her, I would be nowhere. She has just taken so much time. She's been in the industry for, a good decade or more, and she just is fabulous. And I love her like my sister, my best friend, my sister.
I think she reached out to us about the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
amazing. She's incredible.
Amazing.
Okay, people. Well, we look forward to seeing all that too, and just
Yeah.
definitely keep us in the loop in a personal.
Oh,
note,
yeah.
I
so.
definitely will. You guys are definitely in the loop for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. But what else?
Did you want me to talk about it? Talk about the fashion show in LA, the Hollywood fashion show I did?
The one you just did?
I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah,
No,
of
no,
course.
no, the one you just attended.
The one,
right?
it was a week
Let's
ago,
talk about
so it
let's
was
talk about
last Sunday. I
Last
did
Sunday,
it.
so just,
It was at the Celebrity Center, and my friend Samara Kazmin with Samara's Network, and the Hollywood Elite magazine. It was their 1 year anniversary, so we kind of combined those together, and it was it was absolutely fabulous. I posted an awful lot about that on Instagram and on Facebook. I mean, the people there are so incredible and so welcoming, and they're all about helping and supporting you in your endeavors and what you're doing. And she's very selective of who she allows into her network. So I've only met amazing, positive people through her.
Awesome.
And I'm inviting you guys and all of my friends. So she's doing a Oscars Luxury Gala Watch Party, March 15th of 2026 in Los Angeles. And I attended it last year, and it was a life-changing experience. Met just amazing, amazing people, and I'll invite you guys to go to that
thank
as
you.
well.
We would love to.
Yes,
We
you
would
need to be
definitely love
there.
to.
And it's just everybody in the industry, producers, directors, other people who are part of organizations trying to help other people. It was just a fabulous experience, and I'm hoping to be one of the designers that does the fashion show there at the conclusion of the gala. And we kind of talked about that when I was just with her this past weekend. But I mean, she's a fabulous woman and has an amazing network of people, in Hollywood that are there to give back, to help, not to like take people's money or to scam anybody. It's good, solid.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Incredible people.
Because I know you're dealing with a lot of people and big people as well. Is there obviously from you? Can you tell someone that's trying to take advantage? And then
I can, only because I'm an empath, and I also I have gifts, and I connect with people's pain and with people's energy. So yeah, I can tell, but not everybody can. I mean, it's a
definitely.
gift. Not everybody realizes what's going on because there's so many people who promise you all these things.
Yeah.
Oh, you give us this amount of money and we're going to do this, that, and all this other stuff. And like, it all sounds fabulous. But, I have a friend that grew up in Hollywood and, he was also cautioning me like, Amber, you need to
This is a different
be
kind of
careful.
city. This is a different
Right.
kind
But
of energy.
with Samara and her network, like, you don't need to be worried about those kind of things because everyone's on the up and up, and everyone's there to support each other. And like, what can we do? Collaborations and just really fun things. I met a bunch of great models out there, who want to wear my stuff. And so here's the other thing. I've yet to sell one of my actual garments. I've sold plenty of accessories and, my one-of-a-kind hats, sunglasses, and all of that. So, I split up my company into, Vacancies by Amber Leto, and then Amber Leto Designs, and then I'm still going to do Amber Leto One-of-a-Kind.
So you have your your ready to wear, and then you also have your couture.
I have my ready to wear. I have my couture. I have my more casual line, my denim line, and
Awesome.
some other lines that I have out. But I'm still going to shoot for getting my stuff in elite boutiques throughout the
Definitely.
country.
Definitely.
Miami, New York, possibly Chicago.
No, that's beautiful.
Nice.
And
Amazing.
speaking fashion wise, that's not only like inclusive, but it obviously all these things are easier said than done. But it's such a beautiful thing when designers can not only be appreciative of these kind of level of things, but the right kind of level of approach and marketing. And if one perfect example, like one of my all time favorite brands is Ralph Lauren. But with their Polo land, the people get often mixed up thinking that it's the same thing when there's multiple labels that they have.
That's so true.
I didn't know that.
And I just had that conversation, I want to say, with my manager who told me like, oh, but he's got these other lines, but it's all still him. And that's kind of what, that didn't give me the idea. But after the fact, and we talked about it, I was like, yes, so I'm on the right track.
Definitely.
Because I still want to have my one-of-a-kind stuff that I create for celebrities, for
Definitely.
actresses who are going to red carpet events or award shows, or they're up for an Academy Award, or they're attending a red carpet event.
Your
I want to
VIP
make them look
clientele.
absolutely fabulous, one of a kind,
Definitely.
head to toe, all accessories included, and like sit down and work with them on a personal level to so I can make something that's personal to them as well.
Definitely. That's. I don't know, Amber. One of the things that I was researching with you, I mean, I knew it once I met you, once I saw your show, but you really are an elaborative designer.
I am.
I could see the runway pieces. I could see the one thing you mentioned before, the convertibility with some of your dresses and pieces. I just love those things. That's just attention to detail, and like I said, not just inclusive, but elaborative.
Yes,
You know, it's
I like to consider myself over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over the top. I'm in your face, and what I'm not really selling garments. What I'm selling is an overall experience, and that experience is one of stealing the spotlight from everybody else. Walking into a room, have all eyes on you, have everyone turn to look at you, want to know who you're wearing and who you are. I've experienced that myself in my own designs, and so that's an experience I want to give other people.
Definitely.
Because it's a really fun experience, and even if you're not already a celebrity, you definitely end up feeling like one when you arrive in something that I've designed.
Definitely.
And just having the confidence and being comfortable with having that attention on you and owning it, and just really just floating on air, at an event, and getting a lot of questions and inquiries about, like, well, who are you, and where did you get this gown from?
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing, because it's almost like it's with intention, but it's like how you say the universe, it just happens. Like, it just, like, say, I don't know, you've probably had this before, where you have one of your models or one of your people wearing your pieces, and they get asked about it, but it's like, it sticks out so much. It's not just something to ask about. It came from somewhere. It was presented in a certain way. And I myself, with my background in clothing, is just, I could wear a piece and I could have it on sale, or I can everything, but I can't communicate or express that, like, that feeling of having someone wear your stuff, and that feeling of when they feel good, or like, hey, I've had multiple times with like friends, like, hey, I'm going out tonight, I need something. I was like, well, I got this is something that I felt like, oh, it was a whatever kind of piece when I was just in a very cooking session, just going left and right. What I feel is like a whatever piece, they're putting it on feeling like, okay, I'm brand new, I'm ready to go out tonight. Just feeling themselves, and then just seeing people wear your clothes.
And that confidence that they have.
Definitely.
Being wearing a piece. And that's definitely what I'm all about. And a funny story, so I have a dear friend, Heather. She's one of my biggest clients. And, we'll get together and she'll say, well, this is what I need. And then I'll design something for her based upon what she needs. Or I'll just design something and she'll fall in love with it. So she was at Scottsdale Fashion Square wearing a baseball cap that I designed and a pair of sunglasses. And she said over 100 people approached her within like 30 minutes from across the mall, wanting to know where she got it from.
That's
and wanting
awesome.
to get a closer look at it.
It's crazy too. That's not including the people that looked and wanted to ask.
That's
yeah,
true.
true.
You know
Can
what?
never
I
forget
didn't.
that.
I didn't
Yeah,
think about that.
that's true.
I didn't think about that.
No, there's always, I'm telling you, there's something about that. It's like energy with it. When like I've had people wear, like, oh, I've worn my pieces, or people wear my pieces, and then people ask them, and like, you never factor the part where people did the double take and they wanted to ask, or they like maybe took a picture without
They
noticing.
probably did. Yes, they probably did. And that's like that's the reaction that someone can expect to have wearing one of my pieces. And like I said, that's what I am putting out there, this experience, not necessarily a garment, not necessarily a gown, not necessarily a pair of sunglasses or a hat, but that experience of having all that attention and people wanting to like ask you questions about it. Like that's what I'm all about, is that really positive creative energy that just draws people in.
Definitely. Have you in the past before, or ever considered doing any kind of like menswear or children's wear or anything like that?
I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, because I've had some of the Phoenix Top 40 male models approach me, and my manager Yaisi has approached me. And men have approached me too, like, hey, Amber, are you going to do anything for men? And the answer to that is yes, I am. I'm going to start with pieces that go above your suit pocket. So whether it's black tie or you're just wearing a suit, doesn't have to be 3-piece, or just a sports jacket. I'm going to start with my eventually with a line of little pins that go right above. What is it called? Not the lapel, but right above the pocket, the breast pocket.
Yeah.
That are just fabulous. I created one for a friend of mine who's a producer, and he also has a paint company. So I created a pin, and dangling from it was a can of paint with a paintbrush, and then a little 3-dimensional little bucket of popcorn. And then I had a little slide or a little film strip.
Yeah.
And then what's that thing called where they do lights, camera, action, and
Oh, the little
the board,
the board. Yeah.
It had that on it,
Yeah,
and then it also had a piece of popcorn, and then colors from his company as a producer, and I really wanted to get
Very
a picture of that.
personalized.
I wanted to get a picture of that so I could send it to my manager, so that they could kind of see what I'm trying to develop. But
definitely.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm not in contact with him anymore, so I don't think I'll get a picture of it. But I'm ready to create. And the other thing I'm gonna start working on also is men's sunglasses.
Okay.
Oh, awesome!
well.
I'd love that. Oh, speaking of that, real quick, did you ever hear about that thing there? They were saying that a lot of because sunglass, it's its own realm, it's its own field. That the majority of people, brands that manufacture big and tall and big, whatever prescription designer, that they're all made. 70% of them are made from the same company.
No,
You
I
heard
did
about
not
that?
know that.
Yeah, it's all primarily, so it's almost monopolized, or however you say it.
Yeah.
That sunglasses, even prescription ones, sunglasses, one for outside, everything, they're all majority based. Even if it's like, say, a product, the new product, sunglasses that everyone loves, those ones are getting most likely getting mass produced by the same people that might make the one at the prescription store. You know?
And actually, I'll be honest with you. So when I was looking to get my glasses, I saw ones that looked similar to my own designs, but again, those are mass produced. So I know that there's one company that wants my sunglasses, so I'm gonna still mass produce, but I'm also staying true to my vision of doing one of a kind. I'm still also going to be doing one of a kind, for exclusive boutiques, for Hollywood stars, for actresses, for the red carpet, that they go on with the whole, look, like I said, head to toe. I do all the accessories. I do hats, headpieces. Just
I mean that'd be wonderful. There's no limit of the creativity and the possibilities with you. One design for you to just mass produce is just one of not just one of many, but one little avenue, one little motion. Compared to everything
so
else.
I don't know if I told you guys, but I have a pet line out also.
Yeah.
That one of the buyers is interested in.
Yeah.
And that whole thing came from the fact that, so I'm a cat person, and I've had different kitties that have passed on, but I had this one cute little kitty, and she was so tiny, so I started redesigning stuff for her, like taking a little plain cat dress and then adding like all this stuff to it to make it really fancy.
Right.
That's awesome.
And that's what I do. And apparently they're interested in. One of the buyers is interested in my pet line, so I'm making like little collars, and my goal is to have the pet stuff match the human stuff.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
So
okay,
you
that's
can
cool.
you can take your little boy or your little girl, whether they're a cat or a dog, and dress them up in something from Amber Letter, No Vacancies, and also the person can also wear the same design or like mix and match, so they
That's pretty
like
cool,
have
yeah.
the full look when they go
correlate or
out.
correspond or
Yeah.
just straight matching.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
totally. I'm excited
awesome.
about that.
That's great. We can't wait to see it. I don't know if we touched on it, but how did you get started with everything, like the whole fashion?
Like, when did you actually start
Yeah,
saying,
actually,
instead of making it yourself and just a couple friends, like, when did you actually say, you know what?
When I
I'm gonna
was
do this full-fledged?
born, so I was born to be a designer.
Definitely.
I was always involved with art, advanced placement art classes, special art classes for gifted students. Did that my whole life. And when I graduated high school, I was in a gifted art program there, and back in Chicago, and I went to the Art Institute, showed my portfolio. That was going to be my dream. And my dad said, Amber, I'm not paying for you to go to school to be a starving artist. You need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, not depend on a man, not be in a relationship for any other reason but love. You need to go into something, medical. And psychology was an easy thing for me to do because everybody in high school, like even strangers, would come to me with their problems, and I was always there to help and do whatever I could.
It was just always happening.
It was just that was my energy. That was the universe. So it was quite natural for me to go into psychology. But the whole time, you know, I've been my own stylist. I've personal shopped for my friends, helped them find what looks good on them. I'm a display artist. I'm an interior designer. I worked at gosh, they're not around anymore. I forgot. Robinson's May. I worked at Robinson's May once, and they loved the way I did the displays so much they wanted to hire me on as a display artist. So it's just been I've been that way my whole life, and like dressing in the most insane, you know, outfits and all that. So my start in the whole thing was, so my favorite holiday is Halloween. And
Saw that coming.
and I love Halloween, and I would buy a Halloween costume, but then I would bring it home and change it completely,
Definitely.
add my own pizzazz to it, make earrings, necklaces, make a purse that's a prop, so it went with the costume, but it still held my keys and my ID and my money. And then I started making them for my niece in Chicago, and people would stop my dad when they were trick-or-treating and be like, "Where in the world did your little girl get that from?" And he's like, "Oh, my daughter made it." So that was my actual like beginning to
very
design
first
stuff.
stages, yeah.
But I always did accessories and sunglasses and hats and jewelry and all of that. Initially for myself, but then for other people who, like I said, get a lot of attention and just love the energy and get lots of attention and compliments off it. So that's where my actual design, as far as garments and
Like when
stuff,
it
came
first
from
started?
was Halloween.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever find it hard for yourself to like let go of a piece you designed?
Yes, because I'll be honest with you, there's a piece of me in everything I create. So there's a piece of me, and you know, I'm pretty old, so back in the day we didn't have cameras. We didn't have cameras on the phones, you know, so there were pieces that I would take, pieces of jewelry that I would take that I would sell. I'd bring it to like a photocopy store and put it on the photocopier to get pictures of it, so I had it, because at that point I was just doing one of a kind. So yes, every single thing I do, there's a piece of Amber Leto in it. So I'm giving a piece of myself away with all of it, but I don't see that as a bad thing now, because I've got really, really great positive energy, and so I'm giving that away with every piece.
Definitely.
So it's a positive thing.
So from starting off as a young kid altering these Halloween costumes and everything to now, how many pieces and accessories do you think you've like altered, touched, or just designed, created?
A lot. I'll tell you, for New York Fashion Week, I've got 2 shows going on at the same time. One show I'm showing 30 looks, another show I'm showing 14 or 15. So that's 45 garments for that. Then I've got another show where I'm showing 7 pieces. And then in Hawaii Fashion Week, I'm showing 30 pieces. And it's like the week after New York Fashion Week. So I've got a lot.
Do you ever get creative block? Like,
No,
like that?
I don't.
Really? You
I
never,
don't.
have you ever had a stage of that in your life?
No,
or anything, or
never,
season? Nothing?
never.
Wow.
I mean, like, so I used to go to the bead and gem shows that they would have. I went to a lot of those in San Diego, and I would have to go by myself. I couldn't go with they would go, but I'm like, I just have to go by myself, because
Definitely.
my brain just is constantly working, and I'm constantly seeing stuff like Hobby Lobby. I go to there all the time, and my brain just starts going and going and going. So no, and I don't plan out a lot of my stuff. I don't plan out in advance. It's just I make it in the moment. Like, it just comes to me. I'll just start grabbing different things from all these little boxes that I have, and put it together. So
I always envied people that could just be like that, because
it's crazy. It really is. It's crazy. It is. It's crazy.
Because I try to come off, like, I think we're all creatives here, so we try to come off as creatives in any way. And then, like, right now, I feel like I'm struggling with a creative block, trying to get back into, like, all of the, like, for example, photography and video and stuff I'm trying to do. So when people can just, like, pick up something and just create it,
Flow
like they're on the
it,
fly, and then just out of nowhere, I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. You know?
And that's what I do with my designs. And you know,
Definitely.
for my samples, at least, even though some of my samples are going to be reproduced, and you know, and I've got an excellent manufacturer that's in the United States, so I'm very proud of that.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just in the moment. So if they like love these fashions and they want to mass produce them, then that's great.
It's meant to be. It's
Yeah.
meant to be. Do you ever have any like pieces that just will never see the light of day?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
Like,
what
I
happens.
don't
with
mean
it.
in a negative sense. It's just something that just
So
might not
my
release.
pieces, they've all been in photo shoots.
Yeah.
They've all been on a stage for a fashion show. Then there's like the special secret things that can't be released until they go in front of the buyers,
Definitely.
which I'm looking forward to as well. So, you know, some of these I brought with me. Some of my other pieces that I brought with me, and I had, you know, people asking if they could buy them. And I'm like, no, not yet.
Not
I've got to
yet.
go to New York.
Not
I've got to
yet.
see what they want to do with them first.
Yeah.
Styles and their buyers, what they'd like to do with them. So far, no. I do have a big inventory, and I'm pretty positive that is going to get bought out, whether they go to boutiques as
Yeah.
one of a kinds or whether they're mass produced for different buyers that are interested in my stuff. And right now, what I do is I design them in my size. So if they end up caught up, well, they've all seen the light of day, but
Yeah.
if they don't go past that, then I can wear them to
Okay,
events,
right.
and I can wear them in my photo shoots and all that. So
Did you ever get to the point where, like, you know what, I'm gonna make it not my size, so someone else can actually have it this time?
that's what the manufacturers and the buyers are for.
Right.
Yeah.
Is to be able to mass
True,
produce
true.
those in all shapes and sizes, because like I want to, you know, I want, you know, everybody to be able to have, you know, no vacancies by Amber Leto or Amber Leto Designs. But again, my fashion's all about making it your own. So for example, like what I have on here today, we can take this off, we can move it to the other side, we can move it to the bottom of my dress, we can put it on my hair, you know. So I will also encourage people to take my style and make it their own,
Definitely.
personally
Cool,
their
yeah.
own.
Personality.
Yeah.
Personalization to it. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So I love being able to do that.
That's awesome. I mean, diving a little deep when I was previously doing my research and just based off the fact of, you know, really conversating with you, I don't take it too much. You're really too much of a fan of like the fast fashion, mass produced, copy and paste. Like, how do you feel when these brands, you know, no shade to them, they just take someone like yourself and just mass produce their art, their clothes? You know, it's an ongoing fear and thing that for a lot of artists.
Well, for me, it's not, because my stuff's really original, and I have a special look that transfers through my bikini line, my denim line, my you're making me mad about plaid line, my ferocious faux fur line,
Yeah.
which my dear friend Molly Sims is doing a photo shoot for me today.
Nice.
Awesome.
In that line, and she thought the designs were just a lot of fun. So I'm not, you know, before I was very adamant about being a one of a kind designer, but also the fact that these buyers are interested in my fashions and want to make them available to
Yeah.
other people,
Yeah.
I couldn't be more thrilled.
Like, they could never just replicate you. You don't have the fear. Like,
No,
you seem very adamant that, you know what, they could copy it, they can get inspired, but you know what, they're not.
Oh, like
Amber
steal,
Leto.
pretty much. What you mean?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
go.
you know, I heard that happens. I heard that happens.
Yeah, 'cause
my
I-
stuff, I have got my own look. I
Yeah,
really
definitely,
do. I've got
definitely.
my own look, and you guys saw the show,
Yeah.
and like you can tell that, like, oh yeah, Amber did that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it was funny because when I did my show in Hollywood at the Celebrity Center, an actress came up to me and she just said, I just wanted to meet you because someone asked me if this dress I had on was one of yours. And I said, it could be, but I would have a lot more stuff going on and it would be way over the top. And I'm like, that's how you would know it was me. But I'm like, I get what they're saying, because like the
Definitely.
bare bones of it were definitely like my bare bones. But
Definitely.
I just like to just take things up, not up a notch. I like to take things over the top.
Lot of energy.
And so she's excited. I'm probably going to be working with her, making some designs. And I just met a fabulous woman that was a singer who hasn't performed in a while. And I'm going to make something amazing for her. So she's got her
Awesome.
confidence
Yeah.
back, and just all these people just had such amazing energy, and that's so. I'm not afraid of being copied. I mean, that's the biggest form of flattery, from what I
Right,
heard,
yeah.
is being copied or right? Isn't that's kind
Yeah,
of, there's
when-
a saying
Yeah.
about that. The biggest form of
Was it
flattery is
imitated, but duplicated, or something like that? Often imitated, but not.
No,
something
like, you
that, I
think
don't know.
about a different one.
Yeah.
I
But
think
that's funny because
100%.
I met this man who was a
Yeah.
producer while I was out in Los Angeles. I was on the Santa Monica Pier, and it's one of my videos that's on Instagram. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and it's from a while ago, but I actually just started filming him, and it was not like a rehearsed thing. He's like, woman, you showed up today and you said, I'm going to be fabulous and I'm going to be the best that I can be and I'm going to put on something amazing. And, you achieved that goal. And he's like, I'm a producer and I'm going to be the president of the United States one day. But and he's like, but you just showed up in your very best, you woke up and put that on. And then he said something, he rambled something about like often duplicated but can never be recreated. You're one of a kind.
There you go, yeah.
Right. So I'll have to share that video with you guys
Yeah.
so you can post it, because he said that to me and I was just like, you're absolutely right. But no, I am all about being able to bring my fashion to like to everybody,
To the world,
and then
yeah.
still have the portion where I am, just creating things one-on-one with another creative, be it an actress or a singer or a performer or a dancer. A dancer actually performed in my dress she wore during the fashion show last week in Hollywood. She performed dancing and singing in the dress she was wearing in the fashion show.
That's awesome.
Which was fabulous. And
It never gets old. It's it's one of the many things to say. I see someone performing in your stuff, but it's like it's a new feeling every time, Like,
yes, it really is. And I was so thrilled that she like felt so amazing in and that's what it's about. It's about me making people feel amazing, no matter what shape or size they are. And also, as a psychologist, my entire career also went to like helping people with coping skills and learn how to like set limits and boundaries and just be healthier, more positive versions of themselves. People that have gone through horrific tragedies and have, various diagnoses and all of that. But, I just want to make everybody just feel beautiful and stand out and shine and just take that spotlight and have it shining down on them and just feel truly amazing and that they're unstoppable, because that's really how I feel right now. I'm unstoppable.
Definitely. It's quite possibly, and I believe it firmly.
Yeah.
That's what you were here to do.
That's-
You were here
Yeah,
to create. You
That's
were
what
here
I
to
was
give, and you
born
were
to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like the way you give to the world is with your creativity and your energy and that emotion that you convey through it. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I first met you, Amber, I just really wish I had like a quarter of your energy, not just to, not just to get stuff done and just to engage. And I'm a very amplified person and I'm very social, but like I could use a cup of Joe, that whatever you
exactly.
are. Like I really wish I could get that, because I had an energy drink before this, and I've been going back to the gym, and that's probably the most natural ways to do it. But it's just you can't replicate that energy in a person, because the motivation in someone that strives is just you can't
Right.
that.
It's
Get
there.
that. Yeah.
And like I said, you're born with that.
Definitely.
You are born with that. And I was born with that. And so just so you guys know, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink energy drinks.
wow.
I just drink water.
Awesome.
But yeah, I do. I have this incredible energy, and it's energy that I put into me being a psychologist to helping people. I would stay up, late. I would allow them to call me, if they were in a crisis, and stay up and doing all the chart notes and all of that. But like, my creative energy has just been waiting to blow up, and like and like the floodgates have opened. It's burst, and like I have arrived, and I'm thrilled. I'm just absolutely thrilled about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're seeing
Awesome.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, with that, a question I might ask, like, do you ever feel like some people unfortunately don't get that opportunity to let their creativity out? Like, it just gets so repressed?
No, actually, I think that everybody who possesses that creativity, that and with that creativity, I think comes some kind of energy. And like I said, whether it was just sunglasses and hats and purses for my friends who then wore it and got a million compliments on it, or whether it's I had an opportunity to do costume design for a movie.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
and that ended up falling through. But just the fact that the actress called me herself from Canada and said, "I love it. I can't wait to wear it," and that didn't end up, that fell through. But that's still out there for me, and that's something that I also want to do, is do, and because I started with Halloween costumes, so I costume design, and this Halloween I've got some special stuff cooking up. I'm also Miss USA $1 Million Diamond. And the $1 Million Diamond is a pageant, and I'm doing that November 8th at the polo event. And I need to create my own sustainable gown. So I already that's all in my head. I'm just trying to find. Well, hopefully I'll have a little downtime to create that and to create my Halloween costume, because I create my own every year, and I try and go out as many times as I can and go to as many parties as I can in different costumes. I just love love doing that. So. Etsy, for example, is a very good place for a lot of creative people to put their creations.
Definitely.
And I was going to do that, and then I decided not to. It's kind of complicated, and having a website's kind of complicated. I'm still trying to get that all ironed out and up. But what I'm finding out about this process of being onboarded by billion-dollar companies. The onboarding process is very technical, and it's different for every company. They want you to do different things with banks and EIN numbers and your business.
The whole business side. See, and that's why I kind of was asking about it earlier. A little correlation is just I've seen a lot of creatives just get discouraged or fall off or just lose their track of motivation when it gets to the business side. And it's just an unfortunate part of our society. That's just, and I understand an artist that just wants to solely create and be an artist and create their art, whatever avenue it is, but it's just it can discourage a lot of creatives,
it definitely didn't discourage me, but it was a lot. It was okay, I'm a creative, I've made these incredible designs, you like them, great, I'll sell them to you, but there's so much technical and computer stuff involved. And I'm from the age back when we had landlines and before the internet. I'll just tell everybody I'm going to be 55 on September 16th. Everyone they say they can't believe that. They think I'm 30 something. I'm like, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, I gave him that look when you said that to us earlier. I was like, I thought you were messing with me.
No, and I'm proud of it. Yeah. I'm a crippled old woman, but I'm fierce, and I've got amazing energy.
Amazing energy.
But so it definitely was a roadblock. This computer stuff, this do everything over Instagram stuff, this that's not how I work. I'm a very personal, experienced person. I want to meet with somebody in person and sit down and do all this stuff. So I'm not good with technology. I'm not good with computers. I'm not good with any of that. And I'm trying to stay true to that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, yes, there are certain things that you have to do and hoops you have to jump through and guides you have to follow and information that you have to provide
at least to some extent
these buyers with. And it is kind of stifling because yes, I am the creative. I can't wrap my head around that. Thank God my manager Yaisi is a brilliant businesswoman and she can do all of that.
Amazing.
But it is important for the artist to know the process. But
definitely.
I mean, I'm learning all these things that I didn't even know were things I needed to know. And like I said, I just want to keep designing stuff. I don't want to be held up in this technical process. I just want to keep making my stuff.
Yeah, no, and then I honestly, that's the beauty of having a reliable person and a reliable team to kind of take care of that. Maybe overseas still have your foot involved, to some extent, but just let you be the creative and let you shine. But that's the thing, you're at that point, Amber, and the other people, I feel like they'll stop before the rose starts really picking up because they just want to skip to that part. But every journey is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different, and their own life experiences and what they did before, all of that, is part of it. And you definitely need a team.
Definitely.
You can't.
It takes a village.
At this level, you can't do this yourself.
100%.
You can't do
And
this
this was
yourself.
everything, music artists, producers, everything. Music, it's just,
Yeah, you can't do it yourself. And I know you guys mentioned about TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok, but like,
should. Get on there.
I'm sure I could.
Your energy would be amazing.
Yeah,
They need that.
Oh, well, thank you. I save that energy for my little videos that I post on Instagram and
You
Facebook.
could use those videos on there. I mean,
Yeah.
same thing.
No, it's just TikTok for the most part. It really is a more of inviting environment compared to like Instagram and stuff like that. And I just feel like if your energy, you're already organic enough. You hop on there, do your thing, start talking. Little short, quicker edits because that's how they operate. But just being you.
Yeah, you could reach a lot of people through TikTok.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I met this fabulous producer when I was in Hollywood last week, and he just said, "You're a natural. I would love you to cast you in a movie. I would love to get you on some talk shows. You're a natural." And I was just like nothing I do is ever scripted. None of my videos are ever scripted. And that video that I have with me and Mr. Purple,
Right?
I watched that a couple times, and I'm like, "Damn, Amber, you are pretty good. Just right on your feet. You've got it." So I kind of impressed myself a little bit with that, and then I thought, you know what? Yeah, I can do that. I can probably
Oh, you
act.
definitely
I
can,
mean,
yeah.
Have you ever done any kind of thing like that?
Well, okay, the closest that I've gotten to that is I was a finalist on a couple reality shows, a finalist. And as a child, so I was offered, or I wasn't offered, I was with a Shirley Hamilton agency in Chicago. I was around 2 years old, and I got the gig for the Welch's Grape Jelly Kid. And it was going to be for a live commercial.
Oh, really?
And I went there, and I'm guessing the makeup crew smeared grape jelly all over my face, and I remember I have these memories. I wasn't like expecting that, and I don't think I was told that was going to happen. So you've got grape jelly all over your face. That's kind of uncomfortable. You're sticky. So I wiped it off my face and went up to the producer of all people with his white button-down shirt, smeared it all the way down his shirt, put my hands on my hips, and I said, "No." So I got fired, and
This child is fired.
yes, I was fired, but that's just my energy. Like, nobody tells me what to do.
Yeah, it's just been you
So
since the start.
but I often think like, okay, Amber, what if you didn't do that? Like, who would you be today? What if you didn't do that? What path would your career have
Then it
gone?
wasn't meant to be then, probably, because...
Well, and here I am doing what I've always
yeah.
wanted to do. So
Exactly.
like, I said I was two and a half years old. I was like, no, that's not happening. And I've said that to a lot of people in this industry. No, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. And
Boundaries.
and however they choose to, however they choose to interpret that, that's part of their own personal experience and the experience they've had in life. I have no control over that, but I do have control over myself and my creativity and and my creative energy. And I know there's certain places where I don't need to waste that energy.
Definitely.
Because I just want to do all the opportunities that the universe is handing to me, but at the same time realizing I have physical limitations with my disease. I've got physical limitations, and because I do everything from headpieces to hats to derby hats to fascinators to necklaces to earrings to bracelets to rings to tops, bottoms, skirts, gowns, shoes, purses. I mean, sunglasses.
The whole collection. The
I
whole
do
line.
everything,
Yeah.
and again, it's hard as a designer to do everything.
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
How do you deal with like all the negatives, like aside from designing, like interacting with negative people? How do you like handle all that,
Any of it.
Negative people.
or just negative energy, negative people, negative
I-
moments in life, and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Each one is a learning experience for me. That's how I view negative interactions and negative energy. It is a learning experience for me. And because I'm very in tune with the universe and the energy of the universe. So like, if something negative comes my way, I don't have time for that.
Definitely.
I don't have time to entertain it. I don't have time to address it. I always try and be as pleasant and understanding as possible because, like I said, with my thirst of knowledge for why people behave the way that they do, I obviously understand that these people are coming at me from their own experience. It doesn't have really anything to do with me, so I don't take anything personally at all. I take nothing personally, and I've been that way my whole life. Like relationships, friendships, failures, successes, I don't take anything personally. So, yeah, I need to just like let go of people and entities and forces that are negative because, I don't want anything to, to dim my energy, the incredible energy and the incredible experiences
it's sacred to you.
yeah. So, I deal with it in my own way. And that's just also just part of Amber Leto. And like I said, all those years as a psychologist really has helped me to understand why people are the way they are. And I understand, like, it's not about me so much. It's more about them and their history and their issues. And, I just kind of deal with it like that. But there's not room in my life right now
Definitely.
to entertain
Gets
that
to
kind
a
of
stage
stuff.
in life. How would you give anyone a piece of advice to deal with any kind of negativity or discourage or just people just...
Well, again,
taking-
that's a tough thing because as a psychologist, I know that it's been ingrained in so many people's minds by little things that they've, dealt with their parents or, like a parent being disappointed in them about a grade that they got in a class. Like that people internalize these things and they hang on to them, and it affects them throughout their life in all aspects. So fortunately, I don't have any of that, but I see how that gets there, and I see how that gets in their mind, and then it just plays out over different scenarios, over different time periods, in different situations throughout their life. Like I said, with work, relationships, socially, their self-esteem, their self-worth. So like, I always let people know it's not this negativeness. It's not about you. It's about that other person or whoever wherever that negative energy is coming from.
So you're saying it's more like a self-reflection in most times? Like it coming from the negative source?
Yes, and just I'd encourage people to like let that go and to break free of that. And not to let words that were put in their head define who they are or how creative they are. Yeah, and just to just let that go and focus on the amazing human being that you are meant to be without listening to that negative energy.
Definitely.
That's good right there. That's good because I wanted to ask that because I was a psychology background. I think that's what I've been doing a lot lately. Just like letting go of like the past trauma and a mother and stuff like that, like just words they say and stuff like that, because I've been hanging on to a lot of that. So just like something like that, just like it kind of like helps, like you have to let it go. Because I think I sent him like you said, TikTok. I sent him a video about like the past trauma of like childhood and parents and stuff like that. And then the guy's explaining like you got to let go. Like they had their own life growing up, and then
and
their
here's
traumas,
what I think.
Yeah,
Those people, they did the best they could with what they knew.
Exactly.
With what they knew, with what they had, with what they were given. Based upon those experiences and trauma that they had, they did the best they can. And even though it may hurt you as a person today, you need to let go of it because they did the best that they could, even if it was so horrible and traumatic. That's all they knew. And you brought up the thing about relationships with mothers, and I said that's one big thing with serial killers and evil is a lot of it goes back to what kind of relationship they had with their mother and how they view their mother, and that's all very true. But people did the best that they could with what they had given to them, and being able to just like let that go and just realize like, okay, that's what that was, and that's not gonna drag me down. That's not who I am. That's not something that I'm gonna continue to internalize. And carry with me. I mean, tremendous weight. You'll feel a tremendous weight just being lifted off of you when you're able to let go of those things. And as a psychologist, that's what I did for 35 years was help people let go of those things and see where those things were coming from, like what interactions in their life with their parents, with their siblings, with people in school, where those negative messages were sent, how they were internalized, learning that they can overcome that they can separate themselves from it and just become the best, human being possible, and not let that weigh them down or affect their progress or their creativity or whatever it is that they want to pursue.
Definitely, because that's one of the things I came to realization in the last couple of years, that it was like shortly after the pandemic and just really shutting down, everything changing, and then the personal experiences with, close people I used to have around me. I came to the realization that like I can't control what people say, only how I react.
Exactly.
And then in some sense, yeah, okay, you know, if someone's disrespectful is disrespectful. You can choose to react how you react, like say, so forth. But I can't control how you would word things or their tone or where they're coming from and
Exactly.
stuff. Only how I choose to interpret it and respond to it.
Exactly. And you know, I've had that happen to me more than once, especially that's why I'm not a big fan of text messages. I like to speak to people because
Right.
other people will read into your text messages
Exactly. Yeah.
their own negative experiences, their own negativity. They'll read that into your text messages. So I don't, you know, I don't like text messages, but you know, I've had that happen, and you're absolutely right. And the other thing that I always told my patients and my clients is that if you have control over something, do whatever you can to fix whatever. But if you truly do not have control over something, you have to let it go. You just have to give it over to the universe, because you cannot wind up your mind and spend a lot of energy on things that you truly have no control over.
Definitely. Your mind is a valuable place, and then people negative people's experiences or opinions don't deserve any space in your mind.
Correct. They don't. But you know, a lot of people, I'm also learning as I go along, when they see you being successful and they see you take off, they want to pull you down.
Definitely.
And
It's always the one closest to you too.
that what?
Oh, the ones closest to you, like family members or friends or something.
Oh, fortunately, not my family members.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, not my friends, but you know, other people who see you shining
Yeah.
and see and just see your energy and just see you taking off and becoming a big deal.
Yeah.
They want to stifle that, and you know, I'm thinking, well, I would never do that. I would only help somebody, and that's what I've done with some models. I've helped some models. I put some of the Phoenix Top 40 models who were in my photo shoots before they were ever Phoenix Top 40. You know, they were in my photo shoots, and I've given them the opportunity to walk in a show in Fashion Week in New York. So it's like, when, you know, I try and share that with other people, but you know, you can't waste your time with people who are trying to weigh you down, or because it comes from a place of envy and jealousy and hatred and spite. And my energy is so strong and powerful and amazing. I don't have time. Not only do I not have time for that, but it's like, I don't need to go back and fix that, because that is what it is. And I hate that. I always hated that phrase. It is what it is. I always hated that. But the universe has helped me understand that it truly is. And, you know, focus on what you can change and the things that you can make different. And everything else, the way people receive you, you can't make that different. You know, people not wanting to see you succeed. You know, they might not want it, but guess what? You're going to do it anyway.
Right.
Definitely.
You're going to do it anyway.
Can't let it
You're gonna-
stop you.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you about in your background of and so forth. How would you advise someone? Well, first of all, can you yourself identify someone that's like a narcissist, like a genuine narcissist? I know that's a word.
Yes, I
thrown around a
can.
lot.
I no, it's not thrown around a lot. It's very true. There is such a thing as a narcissistic personality disorder, and some of the criteria, the DSM, I knew the DSM-3 by heart. That's when I was in grad school, but it's changed, and it's not even called the DSM anymore. It's ICD-10 codes. So that's all changed. But narcissistic personality disorder, they only align themselves with people that are important, that will make them appear to be more important than they are. They think that they are better than everybody else. And in a way that's like pathological. They will drag other people down and do it in a very calculated way to have other people feel that everything is their fault, and just knock them down. They have a very false sense of elevated self-esteem and self-worth that's usually not based in reality. And you know, I've had several friends involved in relationships with narcissistic men, and again, that comes from a place. I don't want to get all Freudian psychology on anyone, but that comes from a place of like having your ego bruised.
Yeah.
It's like a defense mechanism. where the individual is like wants to push that away and fill those holes so they're not there. But yeah, narcissistic people are not they're not. It's all about what they can get.
Yeah.
With what they can get and what kind of position they can put you on to stomp on you, to step over you, to elevate themselves, to ride on your coattails, but then discredit you for any of your accomplishments, just to build themselves up. And, it's very difficult to be in a relationship with somebody who has narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic tendencies.
Yeah.
And they're very hurtful to people that they're the closest to, like if they're
do it
married
the
to
most
somebody
to.
or their own family or their friends and all of that. So, and again, that's something that I don't have. My universe doesn't have time, or my
Definitely.
universe doesn't have space
100%.
for that kind of stuff.
One last question: do you think is it quite possible? Excuse me, that they're either formed or can they be born?
Oh yeah, good question.
If what's formed or born.
Like the narcissist personality disorder. Like obviously you described that it's the way they're shaped before, but can they be born like that?
Yes.
Is it like, can they just
Yes. Here's my theory on that. And so I always practiced cognitive behavioral psychology. But I've been open to all sorts of other theories and other. I don't consider myself religious, but I'm a sponge when it comes to knowledge because like I said, I was a straight A student, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude, highest honors, all that stuff. So, like I love knowledge, most definitely. Because these things are also in your DNA. So, for example, easiest thing to compare that to is if you have anyone in your life, in your family history that has had any problems with drugs or alcohol, that increases the likelihood that you could end up becoming an addict or an alcoholic. However, so there's that genetic portion of it, but at the same time, it depends on, did you experience any traumas in your life that kind of flicked that switch on? Oh. So there's people who have that in their background, in their DNA, because it is genetic, that have the predisposition for alcohol, for example, alcoholism, narcissism, substance abuse. They have the predisposition, but that individual might go through life with a little bit better coping skills and better experiences than a sibling, and then the sibling will end up with, that DNA will end up being ignited by, their environment and responses that they've had with people throughout their lives, and end up, following the same path, because it's genetic. It's definitely, it's heredity, and it's in your DNA. Wow, so it's the nature and nurture portion of it. Some people are able to rise above that, and other people, it's like predisposed, and things just happen, and they can't. But I have helped addicts reach sobriety and maintain sobriety, and it's a really difficult experience for them. It's very, very difficult, and my heart goes out to each and every one of them, and that's also something. Through my platform as a $1 Million Diamond, Miss USA, and as a designer, those are the things I want to get back to. I want to get back to, money and research for, continue to help people with addictions, and mental health issues, and my own disease of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, just to, have people have more knowledge about it. I can't tell you how many times working with addicts, there's this ridiculous thing called willpower, and it's not about willpower. It isn't. It's about healing from your life and from traumas and from being able to cope with things that have happened in your life without turning to drugs and alcohol, because that doesn't help you cope. That helps you suppress, and it helps you suppress it. To make you able to function, even though you have all that stuff, all the psychological components that have led you to go down that path. But with the right therapist and improper therapy, people can can definitely, reach sobriety and become sober, but it's an everyday thing.
Definitely.
And I have nothing but the utmost respect for those people, because it's a very, there's no medication that's going to fix that. It's like a life, you have to make life changes. And like I said, you also have to weed out who you surround yourself with and the negative people that are influencing you in your life and that are feeding into like that those voices in your head that are telling you that you're never going to do it, you're not going to be successful. So, after working with them for years, like all my patients, whether they were addicts or had mental health issues or both, because usually there's both involved.
Yeah.
They were my biggest teachers. I've learned the most from my clients and my patients, and that's just a gift. I mean, that's just been a tremendous gift. And now in fashion, I want to encourage people to just be out of the box and be over the top and just be like flashy and attract all that
Be the
energy.
star you are.
Yeah. And just make them feel like incredible in that moment. Like what Amber Leto Designs is all about is making moments more memorable.
Definitely.
And taking the ordinary to extraordinary. And that goes for the people who wear them as well.
Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. A gift
Oh,
that
cool.
keeps on giving.
Yep, that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean. That's what I want to do. I just want to continue to give back, and I keep meeting and being put in touch with like incredible energy from people in the universe, and just now that's it's like we're connecting. I'm connecting with all these incredible, beautiful energy forces, and I'm so extremely blessed to have that in my life right now, because my life was not always like that. There was a lot of struggles, with my physical health and with, people who did not want to see me be successful in psychology. And it was a rough road. So I think you asked, like, how did I end up stopping psychology and becoming a designer? I've been doing this my whole life, unofficially as a teenager, and then my entire life, and schooling and then practicing for 35 years. And there was a point that happened where I had let's just put it this way, some very negative energy, very focused on me. And I actually did predict the situation was going to happen. I documented about it, and it literally happened exactly how I said it was going to. So I had to reinvent myself. And I was like, the time has now come for me to do what I was born to do, what I've wanted to do my entire life, which is design. And even though I was already doing it on some level, like I just put myself out there. I designed my own New Year's Eve dress, and I also designed a dress for a masquerade ball that I went to with my friend. And I ended up wearing those two dresses on the red carpet at Samira's luxury Oscar Watch Gala event, and everybody wanted me to design something for them. I shined very brightly since then. And then I came back. I did a couple community fashion shows, and got asked to do hot style with 6 other designers, and I'm the new kid on the block. Everyone else knows what they're doing, and I'm just trying to play catch up to everything, but. My parents couldn't be more proud of me and more supportive. My family is really just can't believe that I made this massive life change, at age 51, and it's only taken me, I've really only been doing this for a hot minute. So the fact that everything's taking off to the extent that it is has just been another true gift from the universe, and just with the good energy that's being sent my way.
100%.
That's great, and it's gonna happen. You're gonna make it to the big leagues.
I am. I mean, I have arrived.
Yeah.
And there's this funny.
Bigger.
I saw this video on I forgot, it was on Instagram. I reposted it, but it was this lady. She's wearing a leopard print coat, and she's like, "The event." I am the event. And that's so Amber Leto.
Definitely.
Like, I am the event. I am here. I show up, and I'm connecting with people, and like, yes, I am the event.
100%. 100%. We We love to see the ride. We love to see the journey. Amber.
Yeah, can't wait
I
to
know
see it
you
on.
guys got to see, bits. You saw, what I
Yeah.
put out in that fashion show, and like,
Definitely. And you had, I think you had the longest collection. I mean, the biggest collection there.
Mm-hmm.
Quite entertaining. And the music selection was really great. The models had the great energy, the confidence with them. It was really great to see.
yeah, it was fabulous, and of course I didn't get to see it. I only got to see like bits and pieces of videos after it because I'm in the
Oh,
back.
yeah, you're in the
Oh,
back.
yeah.
So I haven't really seen any of my shows. And like I said, the one show has a deal with a reality series that that I'm hoping will come to fruition, and Hawaii Fashion Week, Netflix is interested. I'm hoping that
Awesome.
will all pan out. But everyone's always told me that I needed my own reality series.
Definitely.
So I guess I really don't need my own. I just really want to focus on how the people feel in my designs, how the models feel wearing them, and just continue to create over the top, in your face stuff. That's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple months.
Nice.
Definitely. I
Amazing.
can't wait.
Well, I think we should wrap it up now.
It's been a good
It's
one.
been a good
Anything
one.
else, Amber, that you want
Yeah,
to
anything you want
discuss?
to, any advice, tips, anybody? out
Advice
there?
to anyone: it's never too late to follow your dream. Never, ever too late. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but like, this was my dream. I was born to be a designer. I played with Barbie fashion plates as a kid. And so Barbie's been a big influence on me, and another influence has been Disney. So just the magic of Disney and Barbie and how she can be anything. And I created a Barbie box and was a Barbie for Halloween. I mean, I made it all myself. I just so that comes off again in a lot of my fashion and a lot of my styles. Like, you'll see elements of that. But it's never too late. I mean, I thought I had resigned myself to a permanent career as a psychologist, and then to have that taken from me, and it was taken from me, to have that taken from me, and they have the rug pulled out from under my feet. That hasn't been the first time that's happened, but just to like have the capacity to just get up off the ground and stand up again on my own 2 feet and make stuff happen.
Definitely.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah, how you respond to the situation is always the biggest thing.
Exactly. And anybody can do that. Like, anyone has the power to do that. Like, I'm not
feel you
special in that
completely.
way.
I feel you completely, Amber. About a year ago is when I had the most ridiculous incident. I'll have to tell you after this that I got fired from my job. I was there for almost 3 years. One of the reliable employees there. Got well for everything, no reports, everything. Things were already going downhill for the company. Anyways, long story short, I got let go for the most ridiculous thing they could make it up. They were making it up for anyone left and right. And I got to the point where financially it's like, okay, well, I've been up, I've been down. I have no choice but to do this. I kind of learned my kickback from that from the pandemic. But when I lay there and I was like, you know what? I have zero time right now to do anything, to let the bills kick in, to go into negative, to get into worry mode. And I've been surrounded by my own work and my own, not just as a designer, but as a reseller. And I was like, Tino, the solution's right here. So then ever since then, I started like reselling full-fledged, doing my clothes more seriously. And that's how I landed this studio. And even, it is a quite little cozy spot. Ever since then, it's just been a blessing. It never would have happened had that happened at that job. And I was getting paid really good just to be there. And honestly, I was comfortable. I was comfortable for too long. And it catapulted me in. And it'd been in my hand for so long. And not only that, people would tell me. And would you let it by, let it just come let it settle. And then I got to the point that, you know what, this is it. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts. It's just full-fledged.
It's interesting how that happens, because if this horrible experience hadn't happened to me, where all of a sudden, I've devoted my entire life, my education, everything, my path to helping others in, as a psychologist, when that was ripped from underneath my feet, just being able to be like, okay, I got to make something happen, and I'm going to go back to what I was meant to do, and just having that resilience. That's something that people have, and they need to tap into that and really focus on that, is that resilience, because other people can beat you down, situations can beat you down, employers can beat you down, like you were saying. And like so many people were beaten down by the pandemic and so negatively affected by that. I saw so many patients who, especially teenagers, that were so damaged by the pandemic and the social isolation and all that stuff. I'm a social creature. I mean, I'm a social butterfly.
Definitely.
And, just having those interactions with people is just incredible. But the resilience that's within, every individual, and being able to find it and use that to grow personally and to make stuff happen. Like, I am all about, you have the power to make stuff happen, and you need to use that power to do it.
It's
and
in you.
that's what I did, and here I am. So it's been a crazy ride, definitely.
Only going up from here.
Even more up, you know.
I know it. I
Even
know
more.
it. Yeah, it's
Awesome,
insane.
Amber. Well, it's been absolutely amazing to have you. We
Yes.
hope to have you again on another
Oh,
episode.
you will.
definitely.
I'll be
We'll have you
back.
again
Most
soon.
definitely.
For sure.
Have you again. This has been the Put Me Up Something podcast. I am your host, Alejandro Gomez.
And I'm Eurosign.
And of course, we have our special, amazing guest here.
Amber Leto.
And you can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, all Instagram and TikTok. Do you want to throw in your own Instagram?
Sure. My Instagram is Amber Leto _ and I'm on Facebook, just Amber Leto. And I'm getting a website that's going to be up and running eventually, but it's going to be www.amberleto.com, I believe, or amberletodesigns.com, but that's still in the works. So I'm still going to be selling pieces over that, as well as working with these buyers to mass produce some of my, pieces that they are really excited about. And I couldn't be more thrilled. And then, we'll just see what happens. I mean, I'm also doing Paris Fashion Week 2026.
I forgot to ask
Amazing.
about that.
Yes, for Haute
Amazing.
Styles, I'm being sent to Paris. I'm going to do the Cannes Film Festival. I've got some
Nice.
really great connections there to
Nice.
help me experience that. And I've never been to Europe, and I took 6 years of French. Don't remember any of it, but hopefully it'll come back to me. And that's just another thing I'm looking forward to. Never been to Hawaii before, and now I'm going to Kona for Hawaii Fashion Week and working with Swan Elliott. So I'm really excited about that, and things are happening.
Big
yeah,
things coming.
big
All
things.
right.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice, amazing. But yeah,
It's been amazing,
it's
Amber.
been amazing having you. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. And I connected with your positive energy right away at that one fashion show, and I'm glad
Definitely.
that we.
Thank you.
I'm
stayed
glad that we did.
connected.
Yeah, it was
was
meant
a-
to be.
It was. for
Shout out to
sure.
the good people of Admire.
Of course, shout out to Ayana, Admire Management,
Everyone.
all of them. It made this possible, because then if not, we would have never, connected and had you here.
And many more
That's
to come.
very
Yeah,
true.
we met a lot of great people there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
So
on the
did
show
I.
soon.
Yeah, they're great.
Definitely.
But yeah, thank you for tuning into the Put Me Up Something podcast, baby. We're out.
Later.
Bye.